So in the past videos, we've recorded this audio and then we've normalized it to increase the volume, the overall volume of the audio. There are also other tools that you can use for doing this on Audacity, but I just prefer normalize because it's very fast and very easy to do. So in this video, let's see how you can remove noise. Noise reduction is one of the few things that most people use Audacity for. And if you want to do noise reduction, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to select a piece of the audio and you're going to come here under Effects and choose noise reduction, and we're going to see how to do that in a moment. So if you have other plugins, there are other noise reduction plugins for other software that you can add on Audacity. And if you add them, you may get better audio with their noise reductions. But since we're just using what we have, I'm going to do the noise reduction using the Audacity's plugin. So the Audacity noise reduction works well if you select an empty area like this. So when you're recording your audio, make sure you leave some space that you can select as your sample. So what you shouldn't do is you shouldn't select a place like that, okay? Select these empty areas and this is going to give you better results. And also when you're doing the noise reduction, always do it in bits. It's much better. When it comes to editing audio, everything is much better done in bits. Like instead of doing a huge reduction at once, do the reduction in bits, a small amount after another. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that as my sample, and then I'll come into Effect and I will do noise reduction, and then I will get the noise profile. And once you get the noise profile, you can come back into noise reduction, and here you can change the settings. Okay, so play around with these settings to find what works best for you, but for me, I like to do them in small bits at a time. Okay, so if you take this higher, it's going to take so much of the sound and you're going to get some hollow effect. So that's why I normally just put it somewhere down. Okay, so for now, let me just do 7, let me do 6, and you can copy these settings that I'm using if you want to, or you can play around with this. I also just played around with this and found that this worked well for me. Maybe for you, your microphone is different from mine, so that means that this may be too much or too low for you. But just play around with it to find out what works best for you. That's the best way for you. There are no defined settings that work universally. So the best thing for you is to just play around with these settings with some audio until you find what works best for you. So you can reduce or you can take the residue. So if you take the residue will be the audio that is being reduced. So if you do that, it's going to remove everything else and it will just leave the residue, that is the audio that has been reduced. But of course, for us, we want to reduce, and to reduce is to remove the noise. So let me just say okay. So at this point, if I play this, so this is just an audio test that we are using, you will hear that the amount of noise has reduced. Let me export this and then we're going to do another noise reduction. So noise reduction works well when you do it in small bits. So the next one, I'm not going to do the same 6, I'm going to reduce it a bit. And in the end, we're going to have audio that has a low amount of noise. So as I said, I was exporting the audio, and if you're on Windows, the easiest way to export an audio, you can just do Control-Shift-E, and then you can save your audio. So let's do another reduction, and this time around, I'll just choose that again. I want that to be my noise sample. Noise reduction, get the noise profile, and let's go back to noise reduction, and I will reduce this down to 4, and let me just reduce that and let me play it. So this is just an audio test that we're using, and you can already feel that the noise has reduced tremendously. So it depends on your settings and your surroundings and your microphone as well. If your microphone takes all the noise around you, you're going to have to do this multiple times. So let me export it once again and then so I'm just exporting so that I will add these videos later on, these audios later on when I'm recording, when I'm editing the video. That's why I'm exporting them. So I can do a final reduction, and I like to select the sample. Even though some people would just use the same sample, I like to select the sample so that it can reflect the current audio. So I'll get the noise profile, and then I'll come back into noise reduction, and I can just reduce it down once again. So this is the only thing that I'm reducing. All this you can just leave them at constant, at a constant rate. Then I will do the noise reduction once again, and if I play it, so this is just an audio test, and I can just repeat it. Okay, this time round I can just repeat the effect. So you can repeat the effect by doing this, or Control R. So I'll just select there to repeat the reduction, and you know what, I can just repeat it once again. And if I play the audio this time round, so this is just an audio test that we're using for this class, and you'll hear that most of the noise has gone. So if you want to repeat it multiple times, it's best to do it at a lower level, and that will remove the noise on your audio. And at this point you have a better quality audio than what you started with. The sound is much higher and the noise has been reduced. So if that's enough for you and that's all you want to do, then you can stop your editing right there and export the audio. And if you want to export, as I said, you can come here under File and then Save Other, and you can export as a WAV file or as MP3, but you're better off exporting as a WAV file because WAV comes with the best quality and MP3 will be compressed. But before you export as MP3, you're going to have to download the codec, and I think when you click on this, it will prompt you to download it, and it will give you the link there, and you can just import that, or you can just go to Google and search for Audacity MP3 codec, and you'll be able to download the lame codecs for this. Okay, so let me export this. So when you click on save, it will bring for you the metadata, and you can change this metadata. Every time you want to export an audio from Audacity, you'll always have to do this. So you can set a default for yourself. So I will assume that the amount of noise reduction that I want to do for this audio is enough, and I'm not going to do any more. So just know that the more noise reduction you do, it will keep shading off some of the waves from here, and you don't want any of these frequencies to be shaved off. When they get shaved off by the noise reduction, it reduces the quality of your audio, and it will start sounding like someone who is speaking inside of a hollow tube. And you can just try that by increasing the amount of noise reduction, and you'll hear exactly what I'm talking about. So you need to avoid doing too much noise reduction. Just do enough that makes the audio sound better, but not too much that makes the audio sound terrible. So at this point, that's all the noise reduction that I want to do. So the key points for you to take away from this video is that noise reduction works best if you select that small portion where there's a straight line, which means that there is not much sound frequency there. So what you need to do, you select that, then you select the noise profile, and then you use just a low amount. Don't use too much noise reduction, okay? So what else? That's pretty much it for this video, okay? If that's all the editing that you want to do, well and good. In the next video, let's see how we can edit this tempo. Let's say that the speed of my audio is just too slow or too fast. We can see how we can change the tempo. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to do that, and then after that we're going to start editing the audio by removing any elements that we don't need. So this has been a long video, but it's a very important one because it's one of the most important things in audio editing, removing white noise from your audio. So I will see you in the next video when we reduce the tempo or increase the tempo of this audio. So see you in the next video.